because the color map is supposed to be sRGB, so that's nothing strange there. This is one I can just touch note here. So the tiling method, I mean for tiling textures, you should of course have wrap. That would mean that this pixel here will sample to this pixel here. But for a specific texture that for a specific UV mapped object, especially some that has using the UV space all the way out, you would have to you would want to set this to clamp instead, or it will bleed color from this edge to this edge. Um, okay, this is not weird anymore, but why? Yeah, so this is the guy. The setting that is freaking out is this the two-sided foliage setting or shading model. Um, so let's have a look at that. Subsurface. Subsurface color is this guy here. Translucency. Subsurface color tint. Multiply that. Okay. So let's have a look at the translucency map on this guy. Maybe it's because it doesn't have a translucency map. So let's take this one and assign this guy instead. Yeah, it worked. So yeah, we found the problem here, and what the problem is, so the quick solution for this guy would be to just do a default lit like this, boom, and then you will have a mesh that looks decent, you know. Um, the other one, or like the if you want to use the two-sided foliage thing, so let's take away these anything that makes light. Um, keep that and place a spotlight here like that. Oops. Remove any baked lighting. Done. Okay. So, okay. Let's place this light a little better. Spotlight, increase intensity. Yeah. So here we are with the default lit shader, and what happens is it gets completely black from the other side, which is not realistic. So that's why they have the two-sided foliage, which is a cheap subsurface scattering fake, you know, for like thin surface. So let's put it on again. So what happened in the materials was that This guy had the default texture, so it had this like kind of white squares, and that's why when you look at it from the front, it looks okay, but when you look at it from the back, it's kind of its fake subsurface color is white. So my recommended workaround for this kind of crappily set up material, uh, shame on you, Quixel, would be to take the albedo map and just plug that in here and maybe do a tint to it so it looks a little different maybe than the front side, depending on your preference of how you think it should look. Maybe something like that. So I hope that answered your question. Um, so let's move to the next one, and that was
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you.
yeah, cool. I'm happy I could help. So the next one was this yeah, low or kind of very smooth objects flickering, and I also had this problem, and usually it's an anti-aliasing problem, but I will see if I can replicate something here. Two-sided foliage problem and solution. Uh, so let's make another scene, new scene like that, and let's make some shiny objects. Sphere, cylinder, sphere, cone, sphere, sphere, sphere. Uh, see what we can do. Okay. First of all, to get reflections, you always want a reflection capture. So if you don't have that, fix that immediately. Um, then let's make a material. Basic material is fine. Select all this stuff. Uh, um, and assign our, let's make a new material. Mi shiny, skinny, but anyway. Um, assign it here. Boom. Let's open it. Let's make it super shiny. Roughness 0.001 and bring up the metallic maybe like that. Chrome. Uh, so now I'm not getting this. It's a bit of flickering here, but that's something else. Let's try to make a non-metallic. No. Let's make a dark material. Yeah, so here I get completely black because I haven't built the light or reflection captures, but they are built at the same time. The reflection captures update during editor, but they are fixed in gameplay, so they're just a cube map. When I had this problem the last time, the problem was that I had the FXAA anti-aliasing setting. So let's try that too. And also I will show again where the anti-aliasing setting is. Um, if we can, if you want to have, if you like watching paint dry, you can also no, okay. Can double click the swarm agent and see what it's doing here. So yeah, now it built this. Okay, and it still is actually working. Uh, so let's go in here, edit, project settings, and here's also a search, so you can just type anti if you want to, or you could go down to rendering, and you could scroll down to a default settings here, and you could change this anti-aliasing method to, I mean, temporal I think is the default. So let's have a look at that. It's quite stable. Let's see if we change to the FXAA. Anti FXAA. Well, uh, I'm not getting these guys here. If you want, you can zip up your project like this. File, package project, and zip up project here. What it does, it packs all the essential files and not the kind of intermediate and these kind of generated files, so it gets much smaller. And you can send it to me. You could put it on some drive and send me a link, and I will have a look at it. And I know it can happen. Another thing that I use a lot is the forward to be able to use the best anti-aliasing system, which is the MSAA. You have to have use forward shading as in respect in contrast to deferred shading. I'm not going to go into the details of it. I'm not, but there are two different approaches to rendering the scene. To get nice translucent highlights on translucent objects, you're always using surface forward shading. You can use both, but to use the MSAA anti-aliasing, you need to have forward shading set up. And one thing to know is that you have to recompile all your shaders when you and restart your editor when you change this setting. So I don't recommend doing it if you're in a rush, but they introduced the forward shading when they started doing robo recall to get better performance, and I'm almost always using the forward shading, and yeah, just to get the MSAA anti-aliasing. I don't notice a huge like performance difference. So yeah, send me the project if you. I'll see if I can actually have a project with that problem. Do do do. Save it. Collections. Epic. Do do do. And then if you don't have any, yeah, if you don't have any more questions, I just want to show you like a super simple blueprint how to make a door or something because it's kind of it's such a nice and easy example on how to program interactions in Unreal. So I'll just do that for the last 15 minutes. File, recent levels, nope, open, slide water test. Uh, in this scene I had this problem. So let's see if it was something similar. Uh, FXAA. Yeah. So is this what you had? These kind of problems. If it was this kind of stuff, then just change the anti-aliasing setting to temporal, or if you're switching to forward, you can switch it to MSAA. But I mean, temporal is its work is quite stable and nice, and then it goes away. So I hope that can be some help. Uh, yeah, spawning. No, it's really easy. I will do. It's a lot of fun too. So let's do two little blueprints. File new. Let's do like this, and I'll just do the door first, and then we can make a variant to that one just to have some fun if we have time. Uh, so how we create a blueprint object, blueprint actor, for instance, is blueprint is anything pretty much. I mean, any object that is more than a light or a sphere or a static mesh is usually a blueprint object. I mean, a character or pawn or anything interactive or anything. And it could just be even a collection of objects. Sometimes I make a blueprint just to, adjust the transforms to something, and it's a very convenient way to, keep track of a bunch of objects that are related. So right click in the content editor, usually in a folder called blueprints or something. Get the blueprint. Actor is anything you can place in a scene, so anything with a transform. Uh, Pawn inherits from actor and is anything you can possess or control, so an AI or character something. Character is a includes a movement component and is like good for like bipedal uh, character. It's a preset kind of. Play controller is the mind of the player. So anything that if you, yeah, game mode is the game mode. So like programming the setting of the game. This is level uh, based. You can't switch game mode in a level, so but you can switch game modes between levels. Uh, and these case I'm not going to go into. So and you can also go here like all classes, and you can type anything, and you can inherit from any old object that you can think of. So, but right now I'm just gonna do an actor, and I usually don't do much inheriting. I like to keep it like from scratch from actor, and I'm gonna call this door, and I'll make a sliding door. It's pretty much the same as doing another. No, let's do another door. Whatever, sliding door. I always place it in the level immediately, so I don't try to debug something that's not there. I will set my game mode to third person. And if you don't have a third person, you can always add this in the content browser, add new, add feature content pack. Just pick whatever preset that you want and add it to the project. And then just close this guy. So now I get the third person. I want to move the door here, and I want to move the play start here. So, and I don't want to simulate, I want to play, select the viewport, nothing here. So I will open this blueprint, and I will actually make a door frame super quick here. Geometry, box, zero it out, move it up, like this, something, and now we scale it like that, scale it up a bit, get a big door, and I will make a copy of it with Control W, make it subtractive, scale it in a bit, and move it down a bit, maybe scale it down a bit in this way, like that. So this is my door frame. So I will grab both the boxes, go down here to my details panel, and I will find that little arrow and create static mesh. Place it in my meshes, door frame demo, create static mesh, and then I will throw it away. I will go back to my door, and I will actually get this guy and select it here, select the door frame, go into my blueprint and add a component. And the reason I selected it is that then it will be preset on my static mesh here, so I don't have to go select again or find it. So that's that. I want this to be placed at 0 coordinates, like that. And I want two more things here. First of all, I want a door, or three more things. So first of all, I want a door, and I just used a cube for now. Call it door, and I will move it here and scale it a bit like this. F the frame, move it down. Okay, so this is my door. Also, to not have to worry about the coordinates of this mesh, I will also add a scene component, which is like a null in Maya, except it doesn't have a green cross. So, and I will call that door mover. And important here is that I will keep this guy at 0 transform, so like 0 location rotation. And then I will parent the door to the door mover. That means that the default position of the door or door mover is 0. So I will have no problem, only have one coordinate to keep track of, kind of open state. So let's get that while we're at it. Take the door, move it somewhere. Record this coordinate, so it's 0, 0, and 346 in C, so we moved it up 3.5 meters, kind of. And now I will reset it to 0. So I will store that in a variable. So I click here at the variables. It'd be door open location, and it will be a vector, yellow guy. It will be instance editable, so I can change it in the edit out in the scene level to if I want different doors to do different things. And I will just punch this in here, 346, like that. I need one more thing, and that's a collision volume to see when the character is coming here. So I will add a component, and it's called box collision, and I will call it trigger, like box trigger or something. And I will scale it up, or I can also use these guys here, something like that, like that, and I will move it up. Something like this is pretty good. And how to have something happen here is there's two ways, at least two ways, or more, but two. I'm going to show you two. The one I usually use now is I just right click this object here, and I choose add event, and the one I use nine times out of 10 is the on component begin overlap. So I just click that, and that will take me to the event graph, and it added this event for me. So I don't need these other guys. I'll just throw them away. So when something overlaps this box, this will happen. Boom. Uh, and in this case, I will just, okay, I'll start super simple. So the first thing I want to do is I want to drag a reference to my door mover, and I want to set location, and it's relative, so I can move the door around, so relative to its parent. Boom. And I will just get this door open location here, and I will play. Um, Boom. So it opened the door. So that worked. That was all good. Another thing that I always do is I want to check it's my character. I don't want any old ball coming rolling and opening my door. So I will take, well, that could be the case. I mean, for some cases, but I usually want to check if it's my player. So how I do that is I get the other actor here, and I will compare that, which is a double equal sign. And I will also get my play pawn, get player pawn, and I will plug this in here. So what this will do is that out of this red plug is a boolean, so yes or no, no. And if the other actor is my play pawn, it will return true. So if get to the branch, if it's true, then do it, else not. So for us now, it will be nothing will change. But if some other person or AI or something came walking, it would not open. Uh, Next one would be to animate it. And how to do that in an easy way. One way to do that is create a timeline. So add timeline, call it maybe door open TL. And when this happens, instead we will do play. And update will fire a event every frame until it's done. So double click it, add the float track, which is a single value track. So one key at 0, and I will actually make this guy 1 second long. Quick on the timeline node is that float track, single value, vector track, 3 values, event track will fire events, color track. You can name them, rename, door open, amount, for instance. And these guys, this is obviously the length of the animation, but checking this checkbox here, use last keyframe, will use the last keyframe as the length of the timeline. So even though this one is set to 2, if I have this one checked, it will be 1 second long, since the last keyframe is at 1. Loop should be self-explanatory. Replicated is for multiplayer, like online server-based stuff. Ignore time dilation. Unreal has a built-in separate times, so it's one like yeah, the master time, and it has one called game time. And for anything in game, you want to use game time because then you can control something called time dilation to do like slow-mo or speed up or stuff, and still your UI will be, you know, acting normally, for instance. Uh, so I also want it to be a bit smoother, so I'll select these guys and just do auto. You could also, of course, do it like fast out, slow in, or whatever, depending on what kind of feeling you want. So let's go out here again. And now, since we named the track, it will come out here. So that's convenient. And instead of just setting it to the door location, I will mix here. So I will create a lerp vector, and I will lerp it between 0, which is the closed state, and the door open location, which is here. And the alpha, or the kind of the mixer value, will be the door open amount. Double click to add a reroute, and then I will just plug this resulting vector in here. So now oh, now it slides up. Oops, so that worked. I can just make a screenshot of this guy so you have it. Open door. And if you want to close the door, you could go back to your box trigger here, and I will show you another way. This one you could add an event here, but you can also, if you find it more convenient, you can go down to here and you can see the events here, and you can find the on component end overlap, click the plus sign, and you will get another event. And I will do the exactly same here. Copy the play pawn check here, copy paste, plug in the other actor, plug in the execution wire, and I will just, if it's true, I will just reverse play this timeline. So play, open, close, open, close, open, close. So I would say this is stable, and it even works halfway like this, which is cool. And that's the difference between using the play and play from start and the reverse and reverse from end settings. So I prefer it this way. I wish I could do like high resolution screenshots from the blueprint here, but maybe like that. Open and close door. There, yeah. Okay, so spawning stuff. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So let's create a new blueprint. I will throw this one away. Blueprints, add a new blueprint actor, call it spawner, BP, if it's not taken. I will place it in level, like right here. I will double click it. One thing, if you want to enable inputs directly at an object, you will need to go into the objects actor settings here and do auto receive input. Then that specific actor will receive the input. So if I do that, play 0 for single player game always. Then I can map a key directly here. So maybe just do E input. Okay, event. Can I do it? No. Do something more less common. Q. So just for the fun of it, is do this. Do I have start content? Yes. Press Q. Spawn emitter at location, and I will just get the actor location. Get world location. Get location. For actors, if you get actor location, it's always world space. Get, I think, actor location. So plug that in here and template explosion auto destroy blah blah. Okay. So here I can just spawn. So I can see that the input is working. If I want to spawn something here, something other than this particle system, I could use the command spawn actor from class like that, and in this case I will just spawn a static mesh actor, static mesh actor. Spawn transform will be same as this guy, same as the actor location. So just I will make a transform here, make transform, plug in the position, get the random rotation, and I will also get the random float as a scale, random float, and plug it here. And it will, this is a conversion node, so it will convert this value to be uniform scale. Static mesh actor, where is my settings? Sometimes yeah, I'll probably have to set this mobility on this guy. So set mobility to movable to even have be able to set the mesh on it. One thing like a trick in Unreal that's really useful because it has typed variables. So this return from this guy will be a static mesh actor type variable, which can be hard to, I mean, my stat, okay, stat mesh actor. So, I mean, this guy is a Boolean type variable, so yes or no. And we get this like integer number, like full number, float, like a decimal number, name, and string, and text, and vector, and all these guys. And all these guys, and all these guys, and all these guys. So you get really a large number of types, like any class that you make or anything. So one way to get the right type on your variable is to do promote, because then you will automatically get spawned stat mesh. They automatically get the correct type because they're static mesh is a static mesh asset that's in your content browser, like something like this. This is a static mesh. Uh, a static mesh component is it's this guy that's inside an actor that holds the static mesh settings and all that. And the static mesh actor is the whole thing that's like out here. So it can be complicated. Spawner misspelled, but anyway. So I will keep this last spawned static mesh in a variable, so I don't have to get it all the time, or like make two long wires. Spawn stat mesh, set mobility movable, drag it out here, get set mesh, set static mesh. That will actually get the component of the static mesh actor, and I can set it to something like a cube, 1 meter cube. And then I could also, of course, promote this guy, promote, and call it static mesh to spawn, and I'll make that public or like instance editable, so I can change it. And then I will also set simulate physics on this guy. Set simulate physics, and I will set that to true, so it's something happens like that. Okay, so let's try it. Play, and I will press Q, and it spawned a static mesh, and another one, really small. So I guess this was, or this was, my intended behavior here. And you can go crazy with this. I mean, you could even go so crazy as to spawn a mesh like every frame, or whatever. How to do that would be to, instead of firing off this whole thing, this whole chain of events on my key press, I will use my key press to open a gate, like a floodgate gate. And that's a very useful node. So I will use my Q to open it and release to close it. And then of course I need something to come in here, and that will be my tick, which is the same as the update function in Unreal. So I'll have that go in there. So now instead, if I press Q, it will just open this gate and just spawn a large number, like every frame it will spawn a new mesh. That could be fun. Gates are really powerful. Like another node that's really cool or useful is the do once. That will only let one through until you reset it. So that if you have a button that's already pressed and you don't want anybody to press it again, you can maybe have a do once, or you could also do that with a boolean or something. But yeah, another node that's cool is a delay. Just delay something for a little while. The delay is tricky because you can get unexpected behaviors. Like if you have an open door thing going and you have a delay, it can fire a close event after it's been open and closed a few times. So delay is a bit tricky to work it. I try not to work with it, or maybe use booleans like is it open or is it closed, and kind of control it. So that was the spawner. And I mean, as you see, like performance is quite good. You can spawn a lot of stuff. I mean, it's a large number of meshes. The biggest thing that in all programming, of course, is debugging. So for debugging, the print node is always, you know, probably your best choice. So for instance, now I just add a counter, so I will add an integer here and spawned meshes, and I will make that a integer, so a number starts at 0. So every time it's done this, it will take this guy, get it, and it will add one int plus int, and it will set it again. So set it like that. And we also print it. Print. Oops. Print. And what happened here, when I drag out from this one, since the context sensitive is checked, it regards like what is the value that I have here, and it can only print strings, so that's why print didn't show up. Usually context sensitive is very useful, but sometimes you need to uncheck it to get to what you want. How you build a string in Unreal, if you want something else than just a number, if you want, for instance, you say that number of spawned meshes is, then you use a node called append string, append, and there you can get like any number of inputs that you can add up to make a string. So I will just write number of spawned actors and a colon and a space, and I will drag this guy in here, and I will make it another color, so like red. All right, play it again, and now it also counts up how many meshes I've spawned here. Whoops. And this was 644, so it's still, I mean, even with the frame rate counter on, and this is a like laptop with not super powerful, I'm still like steady on 60 frames here. Oops, I ran off again. So that's on the spawner. Anything else? Screenshot, yep. Spawner. Actually, I will try something. No, I can do this. Spawn. Let's pack it up a bit. Tick fires every frame. Boom. Caps lock on. Q key. Press released. This is a cascade particle system that is spawning here. If you want to spawn Niagara actor, it's another node. Spawn static mesh, set mobility, set static mesh. I'm usually a lot. I do a lot of debugging. I mean, of course, that always happens. Uh, and for debugging, I usually create a variable called debug, make it a flow bool, and plug it in here. Get if, so I can easily turn it off, so I don't have a million prints. I usually do, if it's a complex blueprint, I will do quite a lot of debug this, debug that. So it's easy for me to just uncheck all the variables here and get rid of all the prints. Because if I have 1 million prints, I will not find the one I'm working with. And this is my color. You can store colors up here. Just drag and drop. So this is how a debug looks for me. And if it's a debug that's kind of in between everything, um, it usually looks something like this. So in here, false, go straight here, and true goes here, and with the, whatever it is, and debug, and the color. Because then I can surely know that I can get rid of it if I want to clean up my code. Commenting is really good, and I mean, it doesn't matter. It's better to take up some space than to uh, uh, be really tight and unreadable. And I always use like entrance point where something starts. I always use red, so I can easily find like, yeah, here is where the chain of events is starting. So I don't have to think about that. Um, then I just use random colors like anything. Um, okay, screenshot. Be a lot of screenshots here. Part number 1. Number 2. Three, and 4. Okay. The spawner. Okay, any other questions? Um, cool. Else, just good luck, and I look forward to seeing your uh, hand-ins. So if I will try to go over it as fast as possible, and I always try to write some feedback. Um, and this course really went fast. Um, we can have a let's do like a last words on Friday, just a quickie, like 10 o'clock on Friday. I put it in Canvas too. If you have any like, no, let's do this instead. I will make sure that I'm available on Discord on Friday. If you have any like issues, and then you can just write me directly. That's better. Um, okay, thanks a lot and good luck. It's been a lot of fun, and like I said, I have some points for myself. I will be more structured next time. But I hope you are doing well, and that you learned some stuff. And remember also to stay in the learning zone. Uh, don't go into panic mode. It's not about life and death. It's about environment art. Um, what more? Yeah, it's one thing I didn't cover, but decals. You can check that out in the Firefox. UE4 decals. You can check that out in documentation. Uh, it's quite cool. You can add like dirt or signs, like road painted lines on the ground and stuff like that that cross over different materials. Uh, Decals. Um, I didn't want to go over photogrammetry this time. It took a lot of time, just ran away. Uh, but you will have a photogrammetry course, and if we do another course together, I will do it then. Um, okay, I will wrap it up. Thanks a lot, and I will look forward to seeing you work.